Christmas shopping. It is busier than a motherfucker in here. And this ain't even the extent of it. Just driving to my parking spot. Horrific. Horrific. I gotta quick run it though. Because I have a Christmas dinner in half an hour. Thought I would be in and out. But we'll see. I think I'll still be on time. I don't see what I came for. Uh-oh. Oh, I do. Yes. Oh, but they don't have a menu. No. Shit. I was gonna get the Christmas trees and stuff. These are ugly. Well, this one's ugly. I wanted the Christmas tree so bad. I'll put a picture. They had a Christmas tree as well. I wanted that so bad. Well, too bad. So, as this was a work dinner, there's this one returning person that keeps taking over the vlogs. So shout out to Seem for filming some of these amazing little clippies. So since it was the holidays, it was time for the annual Christmas dinner at work. It was the most fun ever. We had the most amazing food. My boss and our chef had been in the kitchen the entire day cooking up all different sorts of stuff. We did some games, which I get really competitive, and I was winning like crazy, might I add. There were music questions, there were inventory questions, there were number questions, there was a hats on, hats off round. It was so well thought out and so much fun. But then I lost on the very, very, very last question, which killed me. But some recognition was still showed for my very, very, very fiery first rounds, so I still got a little gift at the end. And then the holidays were upon us. Very much in theme for me right now. Christmas Eve, I was in the Efteling with my mom this time. And guys, it was so incredibly quiet. I have, first of all, never experienced this before. And second of all, every single waiting line was 10 minutes or under. And when I tell you we walked in and we could sit down immediately, that's exactly what I'm talking about. To me, this was the perfect way to spend my Christmas Eve. And I also got to see the new beautiful water show they just programmed. And when I saw it, it was only out for like, I think 10 days. So it was still very fresh, very new. But so incredibly beautiful. And so much fun to spend my Christmas Eve in the Efteling. On the first day of Christmas, we did absolutely nothing. Me and mom were exhausted from the Efteling, and my dad had a wedding the day before that, so we were tapped out. But on the second day of Christmas, it was time to celebrate it in our way. As tradition, I kind of cook every single year, so this year was no different. There were a lot of yummy things on the menu, which we did have to get groceries for, so that was priority number one. Then once we got home, mom got us started off with some little appetizers and the very first gift, which was not for either one of us, but for our lovely little cat. She was not amused by me trying to let her open the package, but oh well. She at least got some very, very, very yummy stuff, which she also wasn't super interested in, but oh well, she ate it in the end. And then after that, I prepped my favorite Christmas dessert ever, and I started cooking our dinner. On the menu of this night were roast potatoes with rosemary and sage butter, then some roasted honey glazed carrots, and the showstopper of all, crispy pork belly. This was my first time making pork belly, which was kind of scary, but it was super easy. I just seasoned her, plopped her in the air fryer, and in an hour she was done. Now, me being the critical person I am, I do have some notes for the next time I will make it, but for the first time, it didn't turn out too bad. Now, after that very successful Christmas evening, there was still one more Christmas related thing I had to do. Me being the gift giver I am, I was going to surprise one of my bestest friends with a little Christmas basket. I got him 2 gifts. I put in a little handwritten note, some tea, and other stuff he really liked. And I didn't record giving it to him, but trust me on my word, he really loved it. And a few days later, it was already December 31st. Now, I'm a very, very big New Year's girly. And I will speak upon this in a little bit more depth in a second, but not as in super huge resolutions. But I love to start the new year off with some fresh, very tunnel focused energy, and that I have my goals very clear in front of me. So, same routine as always. I made a little mood board, did a little journaling, and this was the one thing I really, really needed. Hello, my sweet darlings. It is Old Year's Day. I don't know how you say it in English, but in Dutch we have a term for it. It's Oudjaarsdag, which means like December 31st, the last day of the old year, I guess. I have my hood on because my hair is currently marinating because I do have a New Year's party in a second, but I did feel like this is the 31st. I just did my whole New Year's routine. If you've been following me for a while, you know I bring out a New Year reset type of video every single year. This year I'm not doing it because you're getting New Year's in a vlog, so it's a little bit different. But I basically do the same thing every year. I write a letter of reflection to 2024. I write a letter to my December self in 2025. I do my ins and outs, I make a mood board, and I just really, really, really reflect upon my year. And I'm gonna be very real and vulnerable and honest with you guys for a second. And I don't know if it's because of this time of the year, but I think that has a little bit to do with it. You know, these last 2 weeks of December are always so incredibly chaotic. You do so much. There are so many holidays all jammed into 2 weeks, and expectations from like the world flying left and right. Oh, you should do this during Christmas, and you should do that during Christmas, and then you should do this at New Year's, and you should eat 12 grapes under the table when it hits 12, you know? All these weird expectations, and I'd really like to preface that I couldn't give a flying freak less about all those weird conditions and expectations that are that are just surrounded by all of these holidays. But I do suffer from a little bit of OCD, so I do love to do all of my new last year reflection, new year goal setting like on the 31st. That just feels right for my brain. But I also think that with the holidays, it's also like a super, it's always, I feel it's always for everybody a super vulnerable time of the year, because for some people it makes you realize, oh hey, maybe I didn't get to spend the holidays with some of the people because some of the people I love, or some of my family because they aren't here anymore. Or maybe it's because it's your first holiday alone. And the joy and the sadness are at such a huge range when it comes to the holidays, that it opens such a vulnerable space for everybody to also then reflect upon the year they had when New Year's comes around. And it's just very, first of all, you're not in your usual routine, and then second of all, this is all of these like very big things just flying around your head. And for me, it really put into perspective for me. And I also reckon it's because this is the first time in a very long time that I've actually like had time off, like not work, not traveling, not doing anything. And I think for me personally, this time of the year has also opened up that reflection space, and it's made me realize that I don't really like the way I'm treating myself right now. I'm very much grateful for all the stuff I get to do and all these opportunities I have, and I feel very blessed and honored and grateful for my outside world. But my inside world has been crumbling down for a few months, I think. I've just kind of neglected it a little bit, saying, oh, I'm too busy, and I can't do anything now, it's too much, and I'm seeing all these people and blah 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 blah. And I've kind of been in this delusional mode of no, I'm fine, when deep down I know my current routine and the way I'm like kind of floating through the days is just not a nice feeling. So I really took my time to kind of reflect upon that just now, and to kind of set different goals for myself in the new year. I cannot preface enough how much I hate like the new year new me type beat. Like I can't do it. But it is somewhat, in some way it does always feel like when you start a new year, it feels refreshing, it feels like a new start. So I really took my time to kind of reflect upon all the things I didn't really like and the things I wanted to get out of my routine this coming year. Because honestly, as I quote this man so very often, as Mr. RuPaul says, is if you can't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else? Which is super true. And I feel like I think the candle's agreeing with me. I feel like I do love myself very much. But in like all the midst of all the busyness and all the things, I kind of let myself slip under the radar, which is not nice. Because if I don't take care of myself, how am I going to take care of the people around me? This candle is really like, yes ma'am, you better work. You better work. So like I said, it's always around this time of the year where I like fall into this super deep reflecting mode. And I think it's also to do with the seasons changing, obviously, and seasonal depression being a very real thing for me. Also, I'm on my period. That's also like another thing on top of all of these heavy feelings. Is I started my period Sunday, which hit me like a truck. I've never ever felt this like PMS type like actual crash down ever before. So that was like really tough and really hard. And I don't know, it's just these last few days have made me realize that I really do not like the way I treat myself. And like I said in the last vlog, I think that's also why I've just not been like super present at the moment and in the time. And I'm not with my 2 feet on the ground, and I really don't like that feeling. So I'm really looking forward to changing that. So yeah, did a whole bunch of stuff, which I always love my old year's day routine. I love like putting everything on paper. I'm a very big writer. Like I love writing or typing everything down to get it out of my system. I also started my well, I'm still starting. I'm setting up my own Notion. So my little OCD heart, like putting all the emojis and all the drop down menus, and it's just it's so nice. So I'm really hoping that that I stick through, and I'm gonna be approaching these new goals very differently than I've done like over the last years before, where you kind of have this weird pressure on yourself to be like, oh, it's Jan 1st, so I need to uproot and change my life right away, when that's not how humanity works. That's not how we work, and it ain't gonna work like that. So I will be easing into my routine. I will be slowly but surely adding more and more things, because building routines truly isn't that hard. You just need to get over it and do it. So that was my whole little year recap. Feels crazy that it's gonna be 2025 tomorrow, like in a few hours even. Like that, it's crazy. That was my TED talk. I really want to open a space where I can also be very vulnerable and kind of show you what I'm feeling, because it's not always the cutesy little montages of me hanging out with my friends and going to the Efteling or whatever. It's not always that. Behind the screen there also is still a lot going on. So yeah, that was my speech. It's the third time I've said this already and I keep yapping on. So I'm gonna get back to my Notion, because that's fun. I'm gonna put in my earplugs and I'm gonna listen to music, and then in a second I'm gonna make something very nice, something very New Year's related. And it's very Dutch New Year's related, so you'll see it in a second. Oliebollen are a very Dutch tradition, which we usually only eat around New Year's, because they are also only available really around New Year's. But this year I felt like making them from scratch. And for the very first time baking these, they were not too bad. Shaping was a little bit off. I called them more olie monsters than oliebollen. But oh well. Nonetheless, they tasted very nice. And at 12 o'clock, I was in Eindhoven celebrating New Year's with some friends of mine at a new bar, which her boyfriend owned. And the fireworks were very close to my face, but it was a super fun night. We danced, we had some drinks. It was the best way to start New Year's. Well, to start Jan 1st off very good, I'm joining my friend for a Pilates class. I just had zero clue that I would be, working out Jan 1st, but let's go. Let's do it. Now, believe it or not, the instructor didn't show up. There was some miscommunication, so the class ended up canceling. So me and my friend just ended up working out a little bit ourselves, because we were there, might as well, And I don't know what was in the air, but I had the most wonderful weekend ever. I got to be a stylist assistant at a lookbook shoot for a very new up-and-coming brand, which was super fun. Such lovely people. We were laughing the entire day. Energy was absolutely unmatched. And then I also booked a styling gig as a styling assistant for 2 days in a row for an artist, and I was assisting a girl that I met at our event, which was an absolute dream. She was the nicest, she was the sweetest. We got along so incredibly well. Even though day one was a little bit chaos and it didn't really go as we expected, we still had so much fun together. And then after, we went out to get some dinner in the city, and then it was off for day two, which went a little bit more smoothly than day one. We got a lot of stuff done, and it was so much fun. Hi, my loves. I've been home from set for quite a bit now. It's 11:10, so I've been home for a hot minute. I took a nice shower, I washed my hair, but it's Sunday, so that means it's the end of this vlog. It's the end of the first vlog of 2025. We're only 5 days in, and I'm already like so over the moon. I just finished a whole entire weekend of photo shoots. And the year has just begun. I'm such a big New Year's girly. And I know that sounds like super weird and I get that that's like, for some people it's like totally not their thing, and there's this really bad rep on like New Year's resolutions because people can't seem to get them, or can't seem to keep them is what I'm trying to say. But I think it's really about the way how you perceive New Year resolutions and how you see them, and if you even set them up like achievable. I think a lot of people, like I probably said before, I think a lot of people have this like mentality of a new year, I need to change overnight, but I've kind of scrapped that mentality. I've kind of been just going with the flow, and I've really tried to ease myself into this new routine I'm trying to create for myself, and just really shifted like my mindset a lot. And I've become very conscious of also the content I'm trying to consume myself. So the things I'm watching on my social media, the people I'm following, the things I post. I've noticed I've become very, very much more conscious of my presence as a whole. And we're still working on the being in the moment and really taking everything in. Still working on that. Which is also a thing that's like, this last weekend has just been so incredibly insane that my mind can't even like fathom that this is like this is my job, and I get to do this, and I get to pursue my passions. And the way 2024 was just so good to me, and I've stepped into 2025 with such amazing energy and such a fresh, bright mindset, and so much excitement. More excitement than, I guess I'd say, like head focused drivenness, to, well, also a little bit of that, to kind of shape my life into the way I want it to. And I'm just, every single day I keep on getting inspired, and there are so many fun things on the schedule that I'm working on that just keeps my motivation going and going and going. And I am just so incredibly curious where this year is going to take me. If these first 5 days have already been so incredibly magical, I just cannot wait to see what's gonna come in the upcoming 360 days. There are already, like, only in this month, there are already so many fun things to be done. And I think I have this gut feeling that it's just gonna get better. And I don't know, I'm just freaking grateful for all the things I get to do. And I feel like this new year kind of refreshing energy is really what I needed. And life's been kind of insane recently. I just want to thank you guys for following my journey all the way through 2024 as well. We're on 2.5 years of vlogging now, ish, I believe. In May it'll be 3 years, which is bonkers. And I want to wish you all the best wishes and the most positive energy now going into 2025. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. And yeah, I'm excited to go to 2025 together. I will see you in 2 weeks. Have the best 2025 ever. And all my good wishes and good luck to you on the other side of that screen.